Ladies and gentlemen, Tijmen.
Hello. Andy, thanks for having me. So I'm Tijmen. I've been a Ruby developer for 15 years, and since a couple of years I've also been doing woodworking. And I wanted to talk to you about it because I think there's some things that Ruby can teach us about woodworking, software development can teach us about woodworking. So the way I got into making things was that we moved house, and it took a couple of months before we got the keys. And so I spent 3 months just diving into a YouTube video on DIY black hole. And I eventually found all of these fine woodworking videos. It's like building little crates and tables, and I really liked it and started doing some of it. But the thing that I liked the best were these puzzles that people were solving. So what you can see here is some jigs that people make, and jigs are kind of little tools that you can build yourself to cut something straight or cut something in a repeatable manner. For example, this is a little jig that's made to create a groove in a cutting board if you're building that. So it's kind of a rake task for cutting grooves. So Ruby has a lot of these tricks in it and things you pick up along the way. And one of my favorites, it's been around for a long time, but one of my favorites is tally, and you can call it on an array, and you get the counts in the array. And woodworking has a couple of these tricks as well. So this is a piece of wood, and it's about 7.2 whatever centimeters wide. And if you want to cut that into 3 equal pieces, you're going to have to divide 7.2 something into 3, which is maths, which is incredibly hard to do. So we can actually refactor this problem by putting your ruler diagonally until it reaches something that is easily divisible by 3, and then you can mark out the lines and cut it into 3 equal pieces. So similarly, if you want to make a box, like a chest like this, to store things in, you think you're going to start with building the main body of the box, and then a lid, and then you measure correctly and you make sure that they fit. But the trick is actually to build an entire box first, and then you go to the table saw or a different type of saw, and you cut it straight through, and then you have something that guarantees fits. So another thing that is kind of similar in woodworking and software development is these real-world details that we've seen so well in the talk about time by Remy. Is you think, time is easy, and then it turns out to be infinitely complex. Well, and there's many more things in software development, like validating a name in a Rails form. You think, okay, that's easy, but some people don't have a first name, have multiple names, names change. The whole concept of a first and a last name is culturally dependent, so it might not apply. And you think the same with wood. It's these are 3 or like a bunch of different pieces of wood, and they're all straight, come straight from the wood factory. And you can just glue them together to make furniture. But it doesn't work like that, because wood is a natural product, and it moves a lot. So if a tree grows on a hill, it will have kind of a bend in it, and then there's tension in the tree, and then if you cut it then it will reform, and it will kind of spring back. So every time you cut something, you run a chance of it moving around. And humidity, so wood moves when it's more humid, it grows, expands and contracts. So what you can see here is that the boards were stacked too close together, and then it basically pops out. So if you're not careful in woodworking, you can end up with furniture that basically explodes on itself when it's summer. Workspaces, one of the favorite things on RubyConf, for instance, like tools, and these are the like 123 most popular text editors that exist, and probably everyone here has a different one from this list. Same is true in woodworking. This is a French cleat system. You put some little slats on a wall, and then you build your own little holders and little shelves. And you can basically, it's a hackable text editor for woodworking. But there's many more tasks. But the point is, it's like if you like arguing about text editors, or if you like spending your entire day optimizing your own shell, then like go into woodworking, because like nobody will stop you. It's awesome. So speaking about tools, there's Nokogiri. You've probably used this directly or indirectly, and it's a useful tool to take HTML or XML, parse it, and extract some content. But does anybody know what a Nokogiri actually is? Well, correct. This is one. So this is mine actually. I tried to bring it on the flight, but EasyJet told me they only allowed planes. So it's Japanese saws are different from Western saws. So a Western saw works when you push into the wood, and it's because the teeth are angled forward, and you can put a lot of force. But Japanese saws work when you pull through the wood, so it's a lot more suitable for fine woodworking because you have a lot more control. So these are some pictures of Japanese woodworking and Japanese joinery, which is super interesting. It's kind of these very cool 3D puzzles that can be built. So there's a lot of like Japanese influence on woodworking as well, because these Japanese pull saws are used everywhere. But there's a magical tool fallacy in woodworking as well. So in software development, you notice it's like if you add Elasticsearch to your application, like all pages will instantly load fast, or rewriting it in TypeScript, you never have a bug again, or all those things. And this is a thicknesser. It makes wood flat, and it costs about 20,000 pounds. It's the woodworking school I go to. And this is a hand plane that does exactly the same thing. It's just a little slower, and it's a little more quiet. So just like in software development, like smaller tools can do the same job as big tools. So finally, it's all about learning. So in software development, we've kind of learned to anticipate failure, and we write a lot of tests, acceptance tests, feature tests. We've got exception tracking like AppSignal, and we've got incident reviews that we use to learn from. And that's because we know you can't do everything perfectly the first time. As a nice example of the box I showed you earlier, I measured it like 5 times and then cut on the wrong side of the drawing that I made, so it doesn't. And you have to do it again because you can't just fix the code. But that's great because it's like learning is the point, and what learning is what makes it fun. So one last thing, I find woodworking amazing, but it's not the only thing. You can work with metal. If you like multi-threading, you can do sewing and knitting. You can actually like build things with Ruby gems, or books and paper, and there's all kinds of cool things that you can build things. And there's probably something in all of those things that you already know from software development. So that's it for me. So thank you.